the Indianapolis Colts. And this is Chaudre Johnson, my nephew. You've been a longtime fan of the Colts, and I always have to ask everybody when it comes to this, what made you become an Indianapolis Colts fan?
So, of course, my dad's a huge Ravens fan, living right in Maryland, a lot of Ravens fans. But I just kind of wanted to go to my own way, probably more so because my dad was a Ravens fan. I just wanted to go to a different place. But that's when I first seen Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, all them boys going at it with the Chargers, Patriots, all those playoff games, crazy years watching them lose to the Saints, and that hurt my heart. I was a Colts fan for a while, but I was still young when they won the Super Bowl. But over time, as I got older, and once I really started understanding what football was, Peyton Manning was definitely the game changer to me becoming a Colts fan.
To you, what is your most memorable moment as a Colts fan? Was it that Super Bowl or was it something else?
Well, my most memorable moment is not actually the positive one. I will never forget that year we lost to the Saints in the Super Bowl. That hurts my heart to the core because, like I said, I was in middle school during the time, and everyone was literally rooting against the Colts. Didn't matter if you were a Ravens fan, everyone was a Saints fan against Colts fan. And just from the moment that onside kick happened in the second half, I just had a bag up feeling. Then that interception that sealed the deal and all the backlash that I caught in middle school. So, yeah, that was definitely the most memorable moment. Like, that was especially just having them go undefeated and then basically giving up the last game by just sitting all the starters. And, you know what I mean? And that, like, the Colts defense, man, that's a huge difference, man. I watched a lot of games go south for us over the years because of defense.
I was thinking that one game where the Colts were playing the Steelers, I think it was AFC Championship, and they got the pick, and the one Steelers player who apparently had been like stabbed in the leg by his girlfriend or something, came in and made the tackle on the guy on the interception, was the last man to beat, and that was the difference in the playoffs. I don't remember who it was, the play or anything, but I just remember they said the guy got stabbed in the leg by his girlfriend in an altercation. They didn't think he was going to play, and he was the last guy to beat to sit and save the touchdown.
I feel like with the Colts, we just always were there, and then it's either a tragic defeat or we win. Like, I remember a couple playoff years we lost to the Jets, a couple field goals, or I was definitely expecting to go farther in the playoffs. And you know what I mean? So it's just really nice to have an overall complete team finally.
And I know over the years, the biggest consistency there has been the quarterback position. For years, Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck. And now after that 1 year without Andrew Luck, and it was Jacoby Brissett and a cast of others, now they have Phillip Rivers. How has Phillip Rivers been, and how did that lead into your expectations coming in for this year?
I don't like the throwing motion, but I was very skeptical. I was like, you know what I mean? We're getting to that age, and then I knew our offensive line, that was a key thing. I was like, our offensive line has stepped up tremendously over the years, because during that span, we were trying to kind of give away our offensive line for a defense with Andrew Luck, and that didn't work. He ended up getting crushed. And I think prior to like a week or two ago, Phillip Rivers had only been really hit 7 times. That's pretty crazy when you think about how much Andrew Luck was hit, which really deteriorate his career, just getting hit. So I do like Phillip Rivers. I mean, especially as the veteran leadership. Sometimes I just feel like his passing decisions can make an effect. Like, a couple drives, he'll be going down, everything smooth, and then sometimes it's just like, where are you throwing at? So I really feel like, honestly, he is the key to how far we go. But I feel like as long as we can just keep moving the ball, the run game is moving, I feel like there's no reason that we can't beat anybody, because our defense is solid. There's not a thing. I trust our defense to the fullest, but the offense, sometimes his playmaking decisions scare me.
Was there a point in the season you felt that the Colts were definitely going to be a lock for the playoffs?
No. I mean, maybe about a week, maybe about like a week or two. I mean, because having the Titans right there, having you got the Ravens, you got the Browns, even the Dolphins around this year. So, I mean, it's a lot of teams around. I mean, I know that for the Colts, there really is no room for error this year. I mean, this year's been competitively, it's been pretty good all around. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like we just got to keep putting our foot on people's necks because we can't slow down going to playoffs because a lot of teams are coming and everyone looks. A lot of teams look good, and a lot of teams are just getting their stride right now. And I'm just glad to see that we have maintained consistency over the year.
Was there a point you were worried that they were going to miss the playoffs?
I was worried, honestly, in the beginning of the season because after the year before, after having Andrew Luck, where he basically went 10-0 to come back, get the comeback player of the year, then we go to Jacoby and he gets hurt, and then start losing a couple games, and then everything just kind of falls downhill. So me personally, I just really was curious to see one how our defense will hold up this year, which they held it real good, and two, the offense. I just was really nervous about our quarterback, and that was a big thing for me because we have history some years of just going for a lot more older quarterbacks. Curtis Painter, Kerry Collins. So I mean, I'm just glad that Phillip Rivers is having a great year, and I just really feel like as long as that line goes, we'll be good. But it's tough, It's just hard to have an actual defense. I'm not used to it. It's so hard to explain with him. It's a love hate. Like I trust him, but to a certain extent. So
Imagine what the San Diego fans felt all those years.
I know. I knew that the throwing motion was kind of but like now that he's on the team, like it's so much more noticeable. It's scary because sometimes you're like, are the passes even going to go for that? But he has some pop on the ball. Sometimes the passes look a little flat, but for the most part, I mean, especially for his age, I mean, I can't complain with his play this year, honestly.
What team do you feel like you match up well with in the AFC playoffs?
I feel like if our offense is moving and the run is moving, I feel like we are a nightmare for the Titans, but I don't know because Derrick Henry, that's always a problem. But I just feel like we definitely have the team to beat the Titans. Kansas City, I'm not sure. Like as a Colts fan, I want to say, but I just feel like they might just have too many weapons, and their play call and the way they run it, like it's really hard to guard. And I just don't feel like our offense would be enough to beat Kansas City's offense. But yeah, I definitely think if we were to see Tennessee again, despite going 1-1 with them, I definitely feel like we would be able to outplay them.
And that's the tiebreaker, of course. If you
Yep.
split at one, somebody's got to win that other one. There is no tie. It may take a few overtimes, but now, that being said, who's the team that you don't want to see in the AFC playoffs? I know you mentioned Kansas City. Is it them? Is it Pittsburgh? Is it Miami? Is it Baltimore who could possibly get in? I mean, there's still a lot of things. Or could it be Buffalo? You never know.
Yeah, I was about to say Buffalo for a while when they were just kind of winning. I was like, yeah, they're looking good again, but now like they definitely are catching people's attention. I feel like the Browns are a team that like if people sleep on and they make the playoffs, that offense, especially with that offense, the defense is solid. There is no reason that, especially if Baker Mayfield is playing decent, there's no reason that they can't keep up with anybody. And that's the thing, the high offense teams, because if our offense is struggling and our defense is constantly on the field, that's when it becomes a problem. So dealing with I mean, everyone has a high offense, but I definitely feel like when you're going with Baltimore, the Browns, Kansas City, they have more so a better overall offense, and I feel like Indianapolis does. So Pittsburgh, I feel like we could beat Pittsburgh. I definitely feel like we could beat Pittsburgh because I feel like we could get through their line. I definitely, and I know that our offensive line will be able to hold their own. But yeah, Baltimore, that's always a tough game for Indianapolis, no matter what. Pittsburgh, I'm not too worried about this year, but yes, Kansas City and Cleveland, just because how I had personally overlooked Cleveland so much this year. I was honestly expecting to kind of fall off, but I mean, they've definitely proven me wrong. So I definitely think between the Cleveland Browns and the Ravens, those will probably be our two toughest challenges.
When Frank Reich was named the head coach of the Colts, I know he was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, and Josh McDaniels took the job and then turned away. What was your initial impression of Reich, and how has that changed, if any, over the past couple of years he's been in Indianapolis?
I'm very impressed with, especially with our offense, like I said, because the key was, what are we going to do now that Andrew Luck is gone? And I mean, even though Andrew Luck was gone throughout the years and we got Jacoby, still found ways to make the offense work. And that's just how it's been consistently over years. We've been through so many quarterbacks since Peyton Manning's left, but yet we still keep finding a way for the offense to just keep moving. And I'm very impressed with Frank Reich. I mean, I love everything he's doing. I'm just not sure how next year. I mean, if Phillip Rivers what's Phillip Rivers going to do? But I mean, I feel like his play calling has been perfect to his personnel. I mean, I feel like we've done all the right things we could do. A couple games we lost, we were nonchalant. The defense might have slacked, but offensively, I mean, I feel like for the most part, he's done good. And now he's a head coach, and I definitely feel like for him being head coach, you can't really ask for much. Going quarterback to quarterback, you know what I mean, constantly getting new linemen, defenses is improving, and I mean, we're still finding ways to win. So, I mean, I'm very impressed, even though there are a lot of Colts fans who are very, picky. Like, we just always feel like there's something that's not getting done right. So, but I'm like, this man, you know what I mean, he's taking what he gets as he goes, and he's still working. I'm about to say we have a lot of guys who really you wouldn't even have really heard of, but they're just making a great impact. Everyone's doing the role. So, man, I'm extremely excited that he's head coaching.
And it's funny, probably a lot of people your age probably don't even remember him as a player. He was a quarterback. This guy was known for his comebacks as a quarterback. He was the quarterback for Buffalo when they were down 4 touchdowns against the Houston Oilers. Came back and brought them back. Jim Kelly was injured. He came back and brought them back. And when he was a quarterback at University of Maryland, he brought them back. I'm trying to think who it was that they played. It was a big game. I don't know if it was like Miami or was it Boston College. Somebody out there who remembers or who knows about that game will probably tell me. He led a big comeback there when Boomer Esiason was hurt. So, I mean, he has a unique resume. He's been a quarterback. He's played in the NFL. He was the initial starting quarterback for the Panthers their first year. So, I mean, he's been around.
I mean, I feel like those are the best head coaches. You mean, you got the guys who have played and they've experienced themselves. So, I mean, of course, I feel like with head coaches, unless you're really elite, you gain a whole lot more respect when you're a player coach because you can literally coach and then you can tell them, I have been through this. The adversity, all that. So that's another thing. I love the fact that he's the player coach because especially I feel like with this generation, sometimes the respect isn't really given as much. So I definitely feel like with his resume, you got players respected a lot more.
And now we come to the prediction for the Super Bowl. Who do you have coming out of the AFC? Who do you have coming out of the NFC? And what will be the final score?
As much as I would love to pick my Indianapolis Colts, so I'm rooting to win, I cannot pick them. I really think that Kansas City is going for a repeat. Sad to say. And I really like Green Bay. I know last year I had Green Bay getting to the Super Bowl and they were short, but I really like Green Bay. Like I said, again, another year where they're not really talked about. Aaron Rodgers having an MVP season again. With the Green Bay, they never get acknowledged as much as some of the other teams. So I got Kansas City and Green Bay, and I have Green Bay losing 24-14.
Ooh. 24-14, so it won't come down to a field goal. And you think it's going to be fairly low scoring in a game like that?
I think the first half will be fairly low scoring, but then I think that second half will pick up. But I definitely think that Kansas City will outplay.
Yeah, I think it might be another low scoring Super Bowl. I know a few people think it's going to be a shootout. Pretty much everyone I've interviewed so far has said Kansas City coming out of the AFC. And a few different other choices for the NFC. NFC is sort of wavering, but we'll see who really is a dominant factor out of that. That's really saying a lot. Nobody gives anybody else in the AFC a chance except for Kansas City. They just think Kansas City's going to run it again, but you never know.
It's just so hard, man. It's just so hard. You look at those guys, this is really just hard to say. Does my team have the full capability? It's like, I love our defense, but I just know, I think when you start facing guys like that are elite like that, your defense can only do so much. So that's when you have to depend on the offense. And I just don't know if our offense has enough. It says Bills versus Saints.
Where can people find you?
Yes, man. I do social media. Do Chaudre. I'm on Instagram, Chaudre 2015. I'm also on Facebook. Haven't really been on Twitter lately, but I might have to start getting back into it. But yeah, those are my two social medias at the time. Yeah, so Chaudre _ 2015 for Instagram, and then you just looking up Chaudre Johnson on Facebook.